Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing another 10-team PPR mock draft here. I'm joined by the fucking boy, the homie Spencer. It's the
Let's
first,
go.
it's the first duo mock draft that we're doing. Spencer is drafting at the 2 spot. I'm drafting at the 7 spot. Draft has just begun, so we're going to go ahead and start firing it up. Spencer, what are you thinking here, man?
Well, Justin Jefferson went off the board to be expected. I prefer a wide receiver, but it's hard to pass on Christian McCaffrey, so I got to take him assuming this is a PPR league. I mean, the guy is going to eventually win you your league single-handedly.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be the case. I mean, let me just tell you guys, it's 2 flex, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, tight end, and a QB. With 5 bench spots. So in a full point PPR league, it's a little bit risky going RB there, but you're definitely right. He can definitely pop off. He's like a week winning player,
I mean,
so you can't go wrong.
he catches balls, man. He catches
What do you
balls out of the backfield.
what do you think about this Bijan over Eckler though? Spice.
That's wild that Bijan went fourth. I would never take Bijan at 4.
Yeah, especially in
Eckler's just a
PPR.
proven guy. Yeah, Chargers are looking good this year. I don't know. Also, have you seen the depth chart stuff with Atlanta?
Yeah, he's
It's
at
a
like
little weird.
fourth. Yeah, I think that's just yeah. Let me
Mind
make my
games
pick
or
real
something.
quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and take Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup at 1.7 in PPR. Travis Kelsey would have been also a potential pick there, but um, I think because it's 2 flex, 2 wide receiver, I got to go wide receiver heavy. I just don't tend to like how my teams look when I get Travis Kelsey. I
That
feel
makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah, but anyway, back to what you were saying. Um, I also saw a report that said that Algier is going to remain involved.
I
He's going
mean,
to be
I think
given,
that was always going to be the case, even if Bijan was like the confirmed starter,
yeah,
like because they
yeah,
love to run the ball in Atlanta.
hmm
So
and
you're
they
up
know he's
now again
capable.
too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Devonte Adams. I
This
just,
is fast, man. It's like I
yeah,
blinked and we're back at your pick.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, Cup and Adams, I mean, that's definitely solid. I think I'm a little concerned about Cup, just given
Yeah,
he got the recent hamstring injury. The Rams just looked terrible last year. Is Stafford going to remain healthy? I think all the same sort of talking head points that you could say about Cup. And then with Adams, I mean, who's throwing him the ball? It's Jimmy G. Can he get it down the field? Like, I think that's
talent
a
wins, dude.
severe. I think it's a severe downgrade though compared to Carr. But
Sure,
that's
but
just
but but talent wins. I'm not gonna listen to off-season reports too much, but they do say that Jimmy G looks good. He's got a good command of the offense. And Devonte Adams is pound for pound. Is there somebody better than him other than Jefferson? I wouldn't even say Chase is better than Adams yet.
yeah. Well, that's basically I was
Age
playing
though.
devil's advocate there on your pick. So how about I make my pick here and then you can roast me or what I choose. I'm actually going to do a little switch up here because I could go into some of these RBs like a Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, but there is the holdout. But I see Patrick Mahomes sitting here, and I'm just going to make that pick and lock in
Damn,
possibly the best QB in fantasy football.
madman,
Well,
madman.
my thought is, we got the guy at the 1. He still needs to take an RB
True.
potentially, um, and maybe he takes a QB as well. So I'm feeling pretty good about a Jalen Waddle maybe coming back to me, or I would even be fine with Olave at the turn at 3-3-2.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I like what you did there because like Patrick Mahomes is the scarce commodity, right? He's the best quarterback. If he would have went there at that turn, you would have felt sad,
Right.
right?
So it's kind of like
While you're okay with getting Olave or Waddle, you're okay with um,
exactly, and that's kind of what happened. Is like, would I be more sad if Mahomes went
yeah,
versus if Waddle went? I think that's the case that I would be more upset if Mahomes was
yeah.
gone. But
Take the more
in this,
scarce asset with
yeah.
your earlier pick for sure. If you're at one of these turns,
Well, in this case too, I mean, Waddle ended up falling to me because, like I said, I looked at the first overall pick, and I saw that they possibly are going to take at least one RB
dude,
if they're
I could have seen him go Jacobs Waddle. I would have went Jacobs Waddle.
yeah
I wouldn't have even went Jacobs. I would have went Olave Waddle.
yeah. I
Imagine
mean, but
that.
that's the thing you take, and obviously if this is your actual league, you would kind of know a little bit more about that person. Like
Yeah.
say we're drafting for real and you're at the one, I kind of know your tendencies and I play off
No,
that when it
fuck no,
comes
you
time to
don't.
draft.
Ah, you think you know? You
I,
think you got the fucking
your
scouting report on me, huh?
your tendencies are pick all the worst players and then leave the best players for
Dude,
me.
there's a direct formula where you just have to calculate how many beers I've had leading up to the live draft, and you'll
Yeah.
know how fucking cavalier I'll be with all my picks.
Bro, what do
All
you
right.
think about Calvin Ridley at 3.3? Third round in a 10 team league.
It's too speculative, man. I'm going to take Josh Allen here. I'm going to just see how it works out punting RB a little.
Yeah.
I just think I want to be top heavy here. So I have like Allen, Cup, Adams. I feel like I want to fill out my roster to make it because typically I'll like punt QB or punt tight end, and then at the end of it, my roster just seems like it doesn't look like a scary roster to go up against. But what'd you ask? What do I feel about what Calvin Ridley?
Uh, yeah, you kind of answered it that it's too speculative.
Yeah,
I know I'll just make a comment on Allen there at 3.7. I feel like is a steal. Um,
could
I
be.
mean, just I'm not sure on ADP. Like I haven't done deep research other than what Sleeper has here, but yeah, I mean Allen has a real shot at being the one as well. So
Yeah,
to get him there is pretty nice.
yeah. I think in our actual home league that we're in together, I'm hoping that Allen falls to me in the third round. The way we're in a keeper league, and the way we've been mocking, it's brutal. Like there's a lot of players getting thrown down because there's a lot of first round picks and stuff getting taken. So I'd love to get Allen in the third.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Allen is definitely a potential for the one.
I think a lot of people disagree with that though. A lot of people think that in single QB, all of these guys are too expensive.
I don't know, but we saw last year that like QBs were so important when it came time to win, because so many people
For
were going
sure.
down. And but you're on the clock here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
What are
gonna
you
take
gonna
Breeze.
take?
Yeah, this is rough. Like because I would have loved ETN or Gibbs, and
Yeah,
you're basically saying, listen, I'm gonna take the QB and solidify that like top overall finish potential. But like with your pick earlier, the risk is that if none of those guys fall to you that you do like, you're feeling sad.
I
I'd have
think
felt
that
nice.
with Brees specifically, it's a little concerning because all the news of like, is Dalvin Cook going to be signed there or any
Yeah.
other veteran? Also, is like Brees Hall even ready to go week one? Those
Yeah.
concerns. So, like, if you're going, I wouldn't even say it's hero RB because typically that's like a RB you take in the
hmm
first round and then anchor to that player. So it's tough because you need to really hit on these RBs,
I should
late
have. I'll tell you already, dude. I already have remorse. I should have just taken DK there, who I like, and
and still
punted
push
because
off. Yeah.
I agree with everything you just said about Brees, but I didn't want to take Najee or Kenneth Walker or Mixon there. So it's like fuck. So I
Yeah,
should have
but
just
that's also why you do these mocks, right? Is like,
yeah.
let me try something out. Let me just go with what the draft is giving me. I mean, that's how I feel. Is I didn't really come in with a plan. I took Mahomes in the second, not something that I would probably normally do, but I just felt that's the play, just given what was falling to me.
Yeah. What are you
Um,
thinking here?
I'm not the biggest Debo fan, to be honest. And
Not in full PPR either.
he's the top wide receiver on the board right now. So I think I might look at another RB. I'm gonna do something weird. I'm gonna go Aaron Jones over Joe Mixon or Kenneth Walker. The reason is Kenneth Walker with the injuries. Is he sharing time with Charbonnet? And then Joe Mixon maybe lost a step last year, and Joe Burrow got the injury. I don't know what's up with him.
Also,
So
they reopened the police report. I heard,
with
and
Joe
that
Mixon.
yeah, there was a
Okay.
fucking report that came out that the victim gave like a description of what happened. It's actually fucking wild if it's true.
Huh.
Basically, there
Yeah.
was like an assault rifle being fired, and this dude was like Starship Troopers fucking running through, like hiding behind a tree, digging into the dirt. Crazy.
Yeah,
Good pick again.
I felt fine, not taking a wide receiver there because I figured that something if I'm not feeling Debo Samuel, like I have my choices left, and in this case it's DeAndre Hopkins.
Nice.
Obviously, he's on a new team. People meme on Tannehill, but he did it with Ryan Mallett in Houston and all the
Goddamn.
carousel of QBs before Deshaun came in. So,
Yeah.
uh, like you were saying earlier, like just bet on the ability. Hopkins has the ability, and when he came back after that suspension for the PEDs, like he was absolutely
Yeah.
amazing.
My only concern with Hopkins, and I agree with you, is just target volume. That's the only concern. Because in Arizona, when he came back, before he came back, Marquise Brown was the wide receiver 6, massive target volume. Hopkins came back, was super productive, but in the touchdown department, not so much in targets. But new team, that might not even apply. All right, so
Yeah,
that's my pick. I've got Cup, Adams, Allen, and Hall. Here, I like the flexibility because I can either go with a running back or a wide receiver, or I can take a tight end, which I'm going to do. I'm going to take Hawkinson here. I typically wouldn't do that. I just like the values at tight end a little bit later, like Dallas Goddard in like the sixth, seventh round, even Fryermuth even later. But I just want to see how the team looks taking Hawk.
yeah. I know you're a big J.K. Dobbins fan, and he's still on the
Yeah,
board. So I'm surprised that
at
you
my
didn't go
next,
Dobbins there.
if he's at there at my next pick, I'll definitely take him. I just feel like I've been taking him way like pretty much everyone I have on my team right now are guys that I haven't taken in any mocks. So
Yeah, and it's
switch it up.
interesting. We were talking about Joe Mixon when I was making the Aaron Jones pick, and he went, you know, 10 picks later or so
Hmm.
at the 5-8. So I mean, clearly people are downgrading him based, on that news or just confidence, like we were talking about. So
Yeah,
don't always go off of sleeper ADP. You got to make your own choices as well.
for sure. And keep in mind the format, right? Like I might have went Judy there. I was looking at the board, and because it's full point PPR, if I want to like solidify my wide receivers, it just feels sad when like your fourth wide receiver or your second flex is like Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I think I could punt RB a little bit further down the road, and I'll take Christian Watson here just for
You're
some
playing
big
a
play.
dangerous game, man.
Going for the big play potential, man. Like week
I think
winning.
I think in a perfect world, ideal situation, you want Eckler to fall to you at a 7, which in the first round, which is unlikely. But if he did, then you wouldn't need to take Brees in the fourth. You go an actual hero RB strategy, and I think I like your team a lot more. Problem is that right now you need Brees to be that guy, which he was looking like before the injury, but it's yet to be seen, like when he comes back, what
Yeah,
he's going to look like.
I tend to agree. If Eckler falls to me there, I take him. Or, dude, Chubb. Chubb at that pick. I'm big on Chubb this season.
Yeah,
If they say he's going to get receiving work,
I wouldn't
tell
even
me,
be
tell
mad
me.
at Derrick Henry because he does get a sneaky amount of catches,
Yeah,
surprisingly. And
yeah.
he's
Last
still
season
Derrick
was his
Henry,
highest
so
too. I think he had like 30 catches, which I think in prior seasons he wasn't even breaking like the 15
yeah.
mark.
I'm looking at this what the overall ADP is right now, and I'm seeing a lot of running backs like J.K. Dobbins, Alexander Madison, Alvin Kamara. If all these guys are going to be here, maybe I don't take Aaron Jones at the 4-9 and instead take just take Debo, even though I'm not a big fan.
Yeah,
Um, because if these types of RBs are going to be around, like, why am I going? Not that Aaron
yeah.
Jones is bad, but it's like, you
But let
know,
me ask you, Spencer.
what's up?
What do you think after your pick? After your picks, I'll ask you.
Okay,
But I'll
I
ask you
think,
let me pose the question now while you think, just for the audience.
yeah.
DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin.
What about them specifically?
Yeah, like what do you think about them? Because look at where they went. They went at the 5'9", 5'10". Let's say instead of Jones, you take Hopkins, and then in your next pick, you take DJ Moore. What do you think about DJ
I
Moore?
th-
Because
I
I'm off him, but a lot of people are like, dude, he's going to be a top five, or
I think that if he's your third wide receiver, which he would be if I had Waddle and Hopkins already,
you're
I'm not
happy.
mad at that. But if you're
Yeah,
relying on him to be your starting wide receiver, I mean he's a wide receiver two at best, and I
bro, but
think the
this
same with
guy,
McLaurin.
but look at this guy, Master Funk, dude. His
Okay,
fourth wide receiver in
yeah,
a full point PPR is DJ Moore. That's crazy, man.
it's good for sure. But again, I think that that's where I would want DJ Moore to be. Like I wouldn't want to
Damn.
be relying on DJ Moore as my starting my
It's your
first
pick, by
wide
the way.
receiver or second wide receiver. Yeah. So I went Chris Godwin, and then I'm gonna go Alvin Kamara. The reason why I went Godwin there is I think even though Tampa Bay is gonna be, QB controversy and are they tanking or whatever, I think betting on talent again is important. And
Yeah.
I think Pittman falls into the same kind of field of McLaurin and DJ Moore is like he's a wide receiver too. I think Godwin has that wide receiver one upside, so I want to bet on the upside. And he's my third wide receiver. Then I go Kamara because yes, the suspension is there, but he's my third RB bet on the upside. I think I can
Um,
do without 3 weeks of Kamara.
yeah. I think Godwin is probably the pick of the draft so far. Um, Baker Mayfield just has to be. I mean, what the fuck, dude? He just has to be okay. Godwin's just too good, man. He's too good. He's a target hog, right?
I
And that's
think
your
that
third wide receiver.
I think
I
that
don't know.
it's really Baker Mayfield has fallen from grace, and I don't think he's going to perform well. I
Yeah.
know people want the
Yeah.
comeback story, and I'm not trying to just bet on a guy's downfall, but everything that I've seen, camp buzz or whatever is the guy's throwing ints. He's not looking good. I mean, he's in competition with Kyle Trask, and on the depth chart, he's listed as or. Why is this even a competition? Not that Trask is trash or anything, but like it's
Yeah, but it's
Baker
like what
Mayfield, a
it's like
first
what you
overall
said
pick.
though. It's like what you said about Hopkins, right? If fucking Ryan Mallett could could create a what was he, a top 5 wide receiver?
Yeah, I think people need to associate like you don't necessarily need to have a good NFL team to have good fantasy football players. Hopkins and Deshaun Watson were both relevant on a
Yep.
garbage Texans team. The
Yep.
the examples are endless. I don't really need to keep
And
going, but
listen, we also have to keep in mind that offensive coordinators make a difference, dude. Think about Jared Goff with the Lions. Um, Amon-Ra St. Brown was a fifth plus rounder last season because we knew who Jared Goff was. We were scared of that offense. We were scared of that team as a whole. Now, suddenly, Amon-Ra St. Brown's like a top 5 wide receiver on a lot of people's rankings.
so I heard an interesting take about Amon Ra, and I want to get your opinion on it. Is that Amon Ra is just a Jarvis Landry? So what that means is
Damn.
Jarvis Landry in Miami is he was just a volume guy. He got if he was in PPR, he was getting an insane amount of catches, and that's what Amon Ra excels at right now.
Yeah, I think it's a little unfair to Jarvis Landry because of how great of a route runner and difficult catcher he was, like catching difficult passes. Um, I know what
Yeah,
you
I
mean though.
think it just boils down to like when that volume drops off, like it did with Landry. Is Amon Ra also in that same boat? Is the concern.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I'm a USC guy, so I'm a pretty big Amon Ra fan. Um, I'm going Mike Evans here. Oh fuck, dude, I'm crumbling, man. This mock draft, I am just full CC, man. After
Bro,
the
you saw
fucking after the Brees Hall pick, Spencer, I have been
I
just
got in your
stun
head,
locked.
dude.
I've been
I
stun
got in your
locked, dude.
head.
I
You
just
know
took
what?
2 Buccaneers back to
I was about
back.
to say I took Godwin and I made the pitch about pick the talent, and you're like, you know what? Rashad White into Mike Evans is feeling kind of nice. Like I incepted you.
Rashad White isn't even talented. I was like literally saying that as I picked him. He's just a
Yeah,
fucking guy, man.
I agree. Rashad
Uh,
White isn't talented, but
I just
he's gonna
needed
be
a
the guy.
yeah, I needed a guy. That's the
So you
problem.
gotta you gotta bet on it. I think that's the problem, right? Is you wait too long on an RB, and you're staring down the barrel of the Rashad Whites, the David Montgomerys of the world,
Dude,
and
I'm not staring down any barrel. I'm full CC'd right now, dude. Cyclone, can't
how about
act,
this?
can't jump, nothing.
This guy took Dalvin Cook over guys like Algier, Pacheco, Montgomery.
Dude,
He's not
Algier
even
at
on a
the
team
8-7.
yet.
Hold on. James Cook is still on the boat. What, this guy took
Yeah,
Algier? It's an auto. Oh, it's an auto. Okay.
it was an auto, but I'm just saying Dalvin Cook was
Dude,
taken, doesn't even have a team yet. What do
this
you think
this
about that?
AI, yeah, I mean, you're expecting him to go to a team where he does get, a considerable workload. So whether it's the Jets, whether it's Miami, the Jets today said that the only RB they're interested in is Dalvin Cook. which makes me
Yeah.
even more boosted about my fucking Brees Hall pick. Oh
I
man,
think here, I'm looking at Christian Kirk, JSN, Deontay for wide receivers. I'm gonna
I'll take.
actually go Deontay here.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
that.
think that Kirk is gonna see some regression with Ridley. JSN, I'm not sure a rookie with a Geno Smith throwing him the ball, and you got DK and Lockett there still. Deontay had an insane amount of target share. It's just he needed to get into the end zone, so we'll see some positive regression there, I think. And the guy right after me went both Kirk and JSN, which is great for me because I think I want to go into an RB here for my fourth. And I'm going to take a stab at David Montgomery over Pacheco. I know it's kind of like, a weird pick because Montgomery hasn't been, some stellar RB, but we saw what happened with Jamal Williams just like going for the touchdown record there, beating out, he beat out Barry Sanders, right? So, I
I
mean,
don't know, dude. Probably.
so David Montgomery, I mean, he's filling that role potentially of Jamal Williams. He could get,
Yeah.
a lot of TDs.
It all depends on how high you are on Gibbs, right? Because if you ask a dude who's a Gibbs truther, maybe has him in Dynasty, he's gonna be like, "No, David Montgomery's fucking garbage,"
Well, I don't
right?
think Gibbs is going to be that three down back. He's going to be lining up as wide receiver a lot, and
Oh,
so I'm
thank
saying
God.
goal line work. Montgomery's that bruiser, but yeah, I could see the debate.
Yeah. Um.
But you go
Yeah.
James Cook, so and you were talking about him earlier. Would you take
Yeah.
him over Montgomery there if you
Uh.
were in my shoes?
Only because it's full point PPR, and
Yeah,
only because I have Allen. Right, it's a little mini stack with
yeah,
James Cook. So
that's
that's
interesting.
literally that's literally why I was happy about. Dude, I was gonna take James Cook at that Mike Evans pick. Right.
Yeah, I think
Um.
yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I'm just staring at. I already have three solid wide receivers, or
Yeah.
sorry, running backs. So I'm just looking like, let me just get someone who's a plug and play type guy.
He
I'm not really
has
relying on Montgomery to.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I think about Montgomery versus Gibbs and that Lions offense as a whole. So, David Montgomery, I think, is going to be more of a consistent fantasy producer because he's going to get most of the goal line work. That doesn't mean that Gibbs isn't going to get goal line work too. I just think that I would rather bank on a guy who, like, we're in a certain situation where we need somebody to put it in the end zone. Let's bring in the big, the big boy that we have. Well, in what situation are they like, damn, we're in a scoring position. We need to give the ball to Gibbs. Right. That's just the dilemma with like third down or like receiving backs in general. You're hoping they break off like a big play from like the 15-yard line, right?
Yeah, I think just where ADP is at with Gibbs going in the beginning of the fourth, and then Montgomery going in the ninth. I would rather have Montgomery at the price, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
for sure. I agree
I think
100%. Dude, consider what I just said. Now add on the fact that you just got him 5 rounds later. That's
yeah,
Montgomery value town.
I think it's just tough to rely. You need basically like that breakout season from a rookie RB, which definitely happens when you look at
Yeah.
like historical
Draft
data
capital.
on draft capital
Yeah.
exactly. But it's not going to be every RB. Is it going to be Bijan? Is it going to be Gibbs? Like we don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it'll be both of
so
them. I think they'll both finish as top 15. Bijan potentially top 5. Gibbs potentially. Uh, oof. I think Gibbs can finish like at 11.
I think that's fair. I mean, the Lions did look good.
There's just a lot of
They just
mouth.
needed.
What the hell, dude? This AI, this
Yeah,
AI is like sidestep God, dude. He's sidestepping so many players to take
I'm
these.
I'm pretty surprised Fryermuth is here still because like Chig went around earlier and stuff. I don't really need to take him right here because Goddard on the other team is already there. So I think I'm gonna go AJ Dillon because I already have Aaron Jones. To just have a little more flexibility at RB. Plus the
Yeah.
team behind me is probably RB needy, so I'm feeling okay with my wide receivers. That's my logic, and then take Firemouth when he comes back to me, most likely.
Yeah, I think I like that. I think if I were you though, I would have went maybe with Elijah Moore, Fryermuth instead of Dylan. I just don't think Dylan's going to be like a needle mover. I mean, if Jones goes down, right? If either of those two go down, you're feeling nice because you have both of them,
Yeah, that's the
right?
point. Is it's kind of like a
Locking
handcuff that could
down
also be a
the
flex player if I need. So
yeah.
it's like again, it's I'm not expecting any of these players except for the tight end that I'm about to pick to be startable. It's more just filling out the bench. So
Let me talk about my pick though with Zay Flowers. So the reason I
oh
kind
yeah,
of
we
like,
skipped over that.
yeah, I kind of skipped over a lot of pretty good names and took them at least in terms of sleepers ADP. I just have been hearing so much buzz come out of camp about how explosive, how good he looks. That he's one of the better wide receivers they've seen come out of the league in a while. Um, Problems, so cons. A lot of mouths to feed on the Ravens. Lamar Jackson isn't the best thrower of the ball. We know that, but I'm banking on the fact that I think um, the Ravens want to make something out of him. They want to justify this pick, right? He's a first rounder. They want to be like, let's make this guy into a superstar. I think it's possible. I think that they really make him the focal point of their offense.
Yeah, I
There's a
mean,
world. There's a universe.
I think with the rookie wide receivers, when you're looking at JSN, Addison, Flowers, and probably Quentin Johnston, who's going to actually get that year one work? I think Zay Flowers and Addison have the best shots at that. Whereas I'm
Yeah.
not so sure, like I said, already concerned with the JSN, at
Yeah.
least in year one. If you're in Dynasty or future years, it's different. And then Johnston as well. You got Keenan Allen, you got Mike
Yeah.
Williams, you have Eckler, too many mouths to feed. But yeah, you're on the clock here.
Oh fuck.
5 seconds. Yeah.
I'm gonna take B
Shoot from the
Rob
hip.
because I think B Rob goes before my next pick.
Okay.
Um, because as you said, mistakes were made, dude. I whiffed at RB, and I'm trying to recoup here by getting like
Yeah.
these last, starting running backs. Khalil Herbert was also an option for me there.
I
Um,
think something that we didn't really talk about is picking at the 7 is a lot different, than picking at the 2 in terms of strategy. You kind of have to reach for your guys a little
you
bit
could
more.
say it, dude. You could say it's a lot worse.
I mean, yeah, there's preferences in terms of where you want to be. Like, I feel like I can gamify the first pick team 1 a little bit easier because I
Yeah,
know what their lineup is and what's coming back to me.
yeah, dude.
Whereas you have no idea.
Yeah, my favorite start to a draft um, at the 101 is getting Jefferson and then Olave Waddle. That start just feels so nice, man. So here, I mean, essentially, you're just playing carousel between running back and wide receiver. Or I think because there's this last running back that I really like, I'm going to take A Chain here. Um, what do you need to say about A Chain that hasn't been said by everyone else? He's in a running back room that's got two guys that are one of which is very old yet good, Mostert, and the other one, Jeff Wilson. He's not. He doesn't jump off the screen. He's not like he's. I wouldn't say he's just a guy, but he's not that great. I think A Chain has a path to taking over the backfield. He doesn't need an injury. I think he just takes it over. So
Yeah, I think A Chain is like a mini Gibbs in a
yeah,
way, in more ways than one, maybe physicality as
dude,
well, because he's
everybody's
getting roasted
gassing
for
him
his
up.
weight.
Yeah, but
Um,
people are gassing up how good he looks.
yeah, I took Williams here,
Amo.
Jamison Williams. I know he's suspended, but he's my what is this? One, two, three, fourth. He's my fifth wide receiver, so I can definitely roster him, especially if some leagues they allow you can put suspended players into IR. Not
Yeah,
very common, but either way, I think it's fine to be able to roster him.
yeah.
Um, don't really care about this last pick. We'll take McKinnon. He looked great at the end of the last
That's a
year.
great pick. Great pick in a PPR league last round
Yeah.
for sure.
But I don't roster two quarterbacks personally in a league like this. I would rather sort of play that waiver wire
Yeah.
um, because I don't think it's worth it to roster like not that Kirk Cousins is bad, but you
Now,
can still look at like a guy like Russell Wilson, Jared Goff still
but keep in
available.
mind, like if you're in any type of keeper league, obviously, like I think last season I took Justin Fields, like last round. Um, that's where I think getting a second QB is like, all right, let me get a speculative dude who could end up being something. But you can apply that same thing to any position, right?
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
think
I
in
agree.
general though, I mean, I have Mahomes, right? So
Yeah,
assuming he's healthy, there's no one that I'm going to start over him other than the bye week.
yeah,
And again, at that point, I can just hit the waiver wire,
yeah, for
pick
sure.
up a Jared Goff, pick up a Derek Carr or something, and be fine.
Yeah. All
Get my
right,
15
that's
points.
that's the motherfucking draft.
Well,
What are we
real
thinking,
quick,
man?
what's if you had to pick out of everyone in this league, the best team that you think has the best chance of winning it all, and the worst team, what would you choose? Who do you think is the best, and
Damn.
who do you think is the worst?
Well, let me just tell you my bias first so that you understand my pick. Um, in a full point PPR league, I tend to look at the wide receiver stable. That really impacts my thoughts. And with that in mind, Team 9, man. I think Team 9 made a good pick in pretty much every round.
And that's Masta Funk.
Yeah, Master Funk.
Yeah. CD Lamb, AJ Brown, Stevenson, Allen, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore into Akers. Yeah, and I mean and hit it
Even his
so
later
they
picks, dude. Herbert, Gibson, Cooks. Not like I like them.
yeah, I think that if you were to follow this strategy, it looks like they punted QB because they got Geno Smith in the last round, which
Yeah.
he was a top 5 guy last year. And then same with punted tight end to the 8th round, picked up Waller, who's been getting all the targets in camp right now. So
Spencer, he probably outscores Hawkinson. That's what makes me
yeah,
boosted. It's like, why did I take Hawkinson there when I know that, Fryermuth, Pitts, dude, in the eighth round? Like, come on.
yeah, and I think
No reason for it.
even though they have Stevenson as like sort of an anchor for their team, they still took those shots late with Gibson has high upside, right? He's kind of
Yeah.
forgotten about, and you're getting him in the ninth. Herbert, what's going to happen in the Bears backfield? He's got upside, and then obviously Pirine with the
Well, he's been getting
Devontae
Herbert's
injury,
been
like
getting Herbert's been getting like most of the first team reps.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean you're getting insane wide receiver value, but you have to be willing to punt that QB tight end. So who do you think is the worst team?
Taco? League
Like
Taco.
this is just a bye week if you play them.
Damn. I think team one kind of threw, dude.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I didn't pick my favorite team, but I will agree that the worst team is Team One. Even though they have Justin Jefferson, you just go down the list. Josh
They
Jacobs,
threw
he's holding out. Jonathan Taylor, he's holding in. Joe Burrow got the calf injury. Debo Samuel, I feel like is very inconsistent.
for PPR,
Um,
yeah.
and I already kind of touched on that earlier. J.K.
JK,
Dobbins,
not a receiving
he's
back.
he's also doing the whole like contract stuff. I don't know what's going on there. Goddard, pretty good, but I mean, you're looking at Goddard, Jefferson as the full
So
confidence
yeah.
starters, and then I mean, I won't read off every name, but the rest I feel is just not guys that you have a lot of confidence in starting
Yeah.
every week.
They're not like league winners. I don't see Kirk as
Exactly.
being like a league winner. I don't see Jackson Smith as somehow supplanting DK and Tyler Lockett. But who's your best team?
Best team. All right, let me see real quick. I won't pick my own, even though I really do like it, but that's just me. Um, let's see. I think I think maybe a good team here is Venti 20
Team 5.
in the center. Yeah. Reason being is Hill was a, top 5 guy. Derrick Henry is still that guy, even though he's a bit older, but I mean, he's getting the lion's share, which is hard to find in a running back. Jalen Hurts is a top quarterback, proven it by going to the Super Bowl and being fantasy relevant with running and DK Metcalf. I mean, he's fallen off in terms of favor with draft capital, but I think you're getting him at a good ADP this year, whereas in years past you're getting him in like the second round or something. So I think, but the only concern I would have is like a guy like Walker. Is he going to be healthy? Um,
I,
yeah, I
I
don't know.
I put
What
it
do you
this way,
think about that
Spencer.
team?
I put it this way. To be like the best team in the league and to be like, championship winning potential, you pretty much have to hit on your first like 4 or 5 rounds, I think.
Yeah,
And if they're like question mark players, obviously they can perform, and then I'm wrong, right?
yeah,
That's fantasy. You don't win every season. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. But just like by looking at those first 5 rounds, if you make like a questionable pick, whether it's a reach or a dude in a contract dispute, now you can actually find value in those situations, these contract disputes. Like Taylor at the 3-1. Let's say the contract gets resolved. He appears, his ankle's fine. His ankle was only hurting because of these contract issues. That's a fucking value pick, right? But then he
Yeah.
whiffs it with Burrow and Samuel, in my opinion. I just wouldn't like. I love Burrow, dude. I literally have 2 different Burrow jerseys, but I wouldn't pick him in the 4th round. He just doesn't bring anything on the from like a rushing standpoint. When you're getting Fields a full round later, right? To me, Trevor Lawrence and Burrow are kind of. I think they're going to end up as like the QB 4 and QB 5, QB whatever, QB 5, QB 6 by end of the season.
Actually, now
Um,
that I look at this more, uh, I might actually take Irish over Venti just
okay,
because there's less question marks
yeah,
in the players,
and he
right?
made good late round, dude.
Got
Rashad
good
Bateman,
late
13th
round.
round.
Yeah.
What?
So even if you're like, well, Najee Harris wasn't really that guy last year. Well, you're getting him in the fourth, and even if he isn't that guy this year, you're getting your shot with Miles Sanders. You're getting your shot with James Conner. Who's competing with James
He
Conner?
sniped
No
me
one.
back, by the way. I had Connor in my queue. Fucking
Yeah.
check
So
the
I
receipts,
mean,
dude. Check the YouTube video.
Justin Herbert. I mean, I think you're getting a value with him. What is he? The two for? He's like the seventh QB off the board. The guy has top three upside. We've seen him do it. He just needs to stay healthy. He had the rib injury last year. So I mean, yeah, that actually might be my favorite all around team just because they have the depth. They took their chances on these RBs late, but still got some solid wide receivers in like Addison. Beckham could be a sneaky play too. So
Yeah, yeah. I think if I had to crown someone though, I will say I like your team. Aside from the Deontay pick, that's the only thing. But in a full point PPR, I think Deontay's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, but
All right, man. Well, we've rambled, I think, far too long, but I liked, doing these drafts, and maybe we'll do
yeah,
another
man.
one soon.
Catch another. Guys, like and subscribe. If you did like this video, hit the comments. Let us know what picks you agree with, what picks you disagree with. Let us know whose team was better. Team 2, Slurpee,
I
the
think.
boys, Spencer, or Team 7, Ronatron 3000. Let me know in the